Dear reader, you are reading the scientific field notes of Dr. Péter Nopcsa, professor of paleontology in Hungary. In the following pages you will read about the strange anomalies that taken place in Hungary from January to July of 2025. The nature of the anomalies and other observations will be described with the best of my understandings. Nevertheless, if you are reading this, that means I successfully transferred my notes to what I believe is the source dimension of these anomalies. At least I hope so. It wasn't an easy task. It took excellent timing and some luck, but it was worth it. I sincerely hope that someone can read this on the other side and can understand the situation that we have to deal with here. But I will not bore you with my sentimentalism, we have much to cover. In the year 2025 on Earth, strange portals appeared seemingly out of nowhere, and 10 vanished just as quickly. It sounds ridiculous, I know. It certainly was. But the curiosities didn't stop there. From these portals, strange creatures appeared. They are quite similar to dinosaurs, even identical to them, but their appearance is quite blocky, for the lack of a better word. In spite of all this, I'm fascinated by them and their ability to adapt to our world, which is without a doubt strange to them. In the following, I will describe 10 species which are roaming in Budapest and in fact in all of Hungary that I've observed in the past few months. Confuciusornis sanctus is a small avialan, originated from the early Cretaceous period. Their fossils were discovered in China. This creature is fascinating. Its small size helps them avoid human attention, so they rarely have to worry about unwanted company. At first glance, they could be seen as some exotic bird species. They are even toothless, like modern birds, but don't relate to them closely. These animals hunt for small fishes. It is not surprising that great number of Confuciusornis can be found near natural waters. I found the largest flock near the bottomless lake, where to my surprise, they not just peacefully coexisted with the modern bird species, but actively searched their company. They are forming social bonds with the ducks near the lake, but Confuciusornis prefers the presence of other birds as well, like pigeons and corvids. They are colorful, but aside from their beauty, their colors are accurate to a scientific understanding too. The Confuciusornis fossils contain melanosomes, which allow us to learn their colorings. Indeed, these individuals are also grey, brown, with a little bit of red, meaning we were correct. I've yet to see a black one though. Ceratosaurus nasicornis is a medium-sized theropod, at least in dinosaur standards. It is still quite big for a modern animal, especially for a terrestrial carnivore. Only one individual was known in the capital city, which formed its territory in the lower areas of the Gellért Hill. It is a ferocious creature, even preying on humans from time to time, but was poorly accustomed to the city environment. The animal was not only dangerous to the human population, but it was also had troubles with the loud traffic and the lack of extensive natural foliage. Because of this, the newly formed dinosaur control group relocated it to a remote reserve, where it can be observed and most certainly live in peace. While it was tranquilized and relocated, I had the privilege to study it. I was intrigued by its row of small osteoderms in its back. Not many theropods possess those. I've never seen such magnificent creature as Brachiosaurus altithorax. This animal's size alone teaches humbleness for the human mind. Brachiosaurus is a surprisingly peaceful animal, not concerning itself with the humans. Perhaps they are a little too ignorant of the other life forms, or they just really like to cause traffic jams. These animals prefer to feed on the higher foliage, mainly on trees. But I observed one feeding on the ivy-covered walls of the Gellért Pass. Brachiosaurus moves in small herds. Even just looking at them wandering is an unforgettable experience. They are very social with each other and vocal too. They can be heard all across the city. All individuals were relocated in June to the mountainous region of the Bakony, mainly because of their sheer size carried dangers with it in highly populated areas. But I saw them living in the natural forest of Transdanubia. They seemed very happy, I can assure you. We can draw the conclusion that flying creatures can adapt extremely well to the unique environment of the city. Pteranodon longiceps is another example of that. The pteranodons of Budapest found themselves in a truly exceptional ecological situation. They live in a relative safety in the city because they are too large for modern predators like buzzards and cats to hunt them, yet small enough to effectively move around the city unlike other species. These animals live in groups. Unfortunately for the human residents of the city, pteranodons like to occupy certain areas for themselves, where they can be rather territorial, especially if they protect their younglings. Generally, they avoid humans or simply not showing any interest towards us. On the contrary, they are very enthusiastic about their main food source, fish. Velociraptor mongoliensis, contrary to the public belief, it's a small-sized feathered theropod dinosaur. Despite their size, they are one of the most dangerous predators introduced in Hungary. Raptors don't really like city environments. The majority of these animals can be found outside of human-populated areas. They are mainly found in the forest of the Bakony Mountains and sparsely populated shores of the Danube River. What really fascinates me with these animals that they are not only living groups but also hunt in packs. These social behaviors enable them to effectively take down prey and guarantee safety for their offsprings. Surprisingly, velociraptors enjoy laying around in warm places, like cats do, which perhaps better simulates the climate of their original environment. There are few dinosaurs that are capable of adapting to the city by gaining sympathy from their inhabitants. Dryosaurus altus is a swift-running herbivore, but towards humans behaves rather friendly. Thus, families and children feeding herds of dryosaurs in the parks or on the streets became a common sight. Because of this, some dryosaurs keep returning to certain park areas in hope of some easy meal granted by humans. These animals need a lot of sleep to function. They are quite lazy but always on alert, or at least one of them is, if the rest of the group is asleep. They are capable of forming strong bonds with each other or even with humans or other animals, which is surprising from a prey animal of many predators. Quetzalcoatlus northrop is possibly the largest flying animal ever existed, and they can fly indeed, so another paleontological debate seems to be concluded with that. The Quetzals that inhabit Budapest are curious and hyperactive creatures and like to cause many inconveniences to humans as possible. These creatures are drawn to shiny objects and take great interest in cameras. If I'm being honest, I've lost many cameras while taking pictures, and maybe some cameramen too. Quetzals are, just like any Asdarchids, carnivores, so naturally they are dangerous to humans, but their capture is not easy. They are tracked but their relocation is still not taken place. I should call the Romanian colleagues. I would like to know if they encountered any living Hatzikopteryx. In contrast with its sheer size, elongated jaws and sharp teeth, Spinosaurus aegypticus is not a ferocious predator of humans. Although opportunistic and thus close observation is ill-advised, personal experience, the diet of Spinosaurus mostly contains fish and aquatic prey. The species is surprisingly cosmopolitan in distribution. They can be found in most lakes of Hungary. The swampy lake system of Tata provides an extremely advantageous environment for this semi-aquatic creature, as it is rich in shelter and prey. However, Spinosaurus can be found in the capital city as well. A Spinosaurus mother with 3 youngsters were observed to sail the waves of the Danube River. But as the mother appeared to be more aggressive towards the waterway transport in the presence of her offsprings, similarly to Ceratosaurus, the dinosaur control group relocated to a remote reserve. Stegosaurus stenops appears to be a heavily built creature just like rhinos, with thick skin and outstanding appendages. However, in contrast with Rhinoceros, this 9-meter-long giant possesses 2 asymmetrical rows of osteoderms alongside its vertebral column, and 4 elongated spikes called tegomizer on the end of its tail. The exact function of these dorsal plates was a recurring topic in paleontological debate. However, after studying these animals in real life, I can conclude that the bright colors of these plates play a significant role in mate choice, while the skin layer richly interwoven with blood vessels may help with thermoregulations. Stegosaurus appears to be rather peaceful to humans, however they tend to avoid crowded areas and traffic. Nonetheless, a wandering Stegosaurus was captured near the Fisherman's Bastion and was mostly unfazed by the crowd. These creatures were observed to annually wander in small herds, as a small group were seen crossing the Chestnut Castle. They spend the winter months in warmer regions to protect the young from hypothermia. I've yet to see such a robust apex predator as Tyrannosaurus rex. This beast truly rules the ecosystem it lives in. It is the largest terrestrial carnivore, not necessarily by length or height, but by weight. It is massive. I didn't have the time to take measurements myself, but the largest specimens rival the size of buses. The rex uses its giant head for hunting. Its teeth and jaws evolved to crush bones. With this excellent equipment, it can wear down the defenses of any heavily armored herbivore. As I've heard, some cars got the taste of their legendary bite force. Tyrannosaurus are no longer can be found in Budapest. They were quickly relocated to reserves after their arrival, because they pose a significant threat to human safety. While they were here, they felt rather comfortably in the streets and parts of Kelenföld and in the slopes of the Gellért Hill. It is astonishing how well they filled their niche in the new ecosystem. Nowadays, they can be found at the reserves of Matra and the Sopron Mountains. I will visit them as soon as possible to continue my studies. These were the species that were found in Budapest and Hungary in the year of 2025. There are more of them out there, I know it. We are taking all of the necessary measures in this situation, but we are in the lack of experts. If anyone receives this message out there, we could use some help. Furthermore, I'm inclined to explore the world where these creatures come from. We also find some strange sarcophagus, but I care little about archaeology. Contact us if you are out there. Dr. Péter Nopcsa, Professor of Paleontology.